Okay, everybody, the time is here. If you order peaches from the Peach Truck Tour, what do you do with 25 pounds of peaches? That's a lot of peaches. So I'm gonna give you guys some ideas and show you what I did with my peaches. If you got peaches from the Peach Truck Tour, leave a message down below, leave a comment. Let the rest of us know what you did with your peaches and any good recipes or good tips that you can have for the rest of us. So let's get started. Okay, so I have this recipe for peach jam. This recipe I'm using, it comes from Jenny's Splendid Ice Cream, believe it or not. But she said to use 2 peaches. I actually used 3 peaches because the peaches from the Peach Truck Tour are a little bit smaller. They're not real big. So I used 3 and then I doubled it. And then she said use 3/4 cup of sugar, but because these are so sweet, I'm gonna cut the sugar down a little bit. I'm only gonna use a 1/2 cup per 3 peaches. And then she said to put an X on the peach skin and blanch them. And how you blanch them is you boil a pot of water and then you put the peaches into the water for 2 minutes, and then you take them out and put them in a bath, ice water bath, to stop the cooking, and then the skin should peel right off. Once you do that, then you want to separate the peach from the pit. Just cut it in half long ways, twist it, and it should come right off the pit. And then put the peach flesh in a blender or a food processor and process it to make a puree. And then what you want to do is you want to put a cup of the puree back into a saucepan and boil that for 8 minutes on the stove until it thickens a little bit. And then you pour that into your jar container, and that's how you make your peach jam. All right. So blanching does not cook the peaches, but what it does, see my X that I had made before? It doesn't cook the peaches, but what it does is it lets you peel the skin right off the peach without taking the peach flesh with it. See how that just comes off like that? And that's why you want to blanch the peaches. Just like that. I have pureed my peaches, and now I'm going to throw them into a saucepan on the stove and get this cooking. Add some sugar, add a little bit of lemon juice, and let it cook until it's thickened. She said about 8 minutes. It is really thin right now. I stir it occasionally and let it cook and wait for it to thicken up. So it has been 8 minutes and it's definitely darker in color and it looks definitely thicker. I can tell the difference as I stir. It is thicker. I'm going to give it 1 more minute and then I'm going to transfer it in the jar. Okay, it's in the jar and I've sealed it up and I'm just going to let it cool till it gets to room temperature, and then I'm going to throw it in my fridge. That was a really simple recipe, and I actually took some of the peaches that were slightly bruised or a little imperfect ones, and those are the ones I used for my jam today, and I kept my perfect ones to eat whole. But a good way to use maybe the ones that might have got a little bit bruised along the way or just sitting on my counter. But there is our recipe for our Peach Truck Tour jam. Now there is a breakfast worth coming to the table for. Okay, so I hope you've seen it already, but if you haven't seen our Columbus video, on there, Lee and I went to a ice cream shop called Jenny's, and it is the same ice cream shop of the cookbook that we used for our peach jam recipe, Jenny's Splendid Ice Cream. And we were able to go to her actual shop when we were in Columbus, and it was great. It was delicious, so yummy. And I got the peach and biscuit ice cream when I was there. And so I want to try and recreate it here at home. I do have Jenny's recipe for it, her legitimate recipe for it. However, I make my own homemade ice cream here, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a twist. Since I make my own, it's super easy, and I'll show you guys how to make that and how I'm going to twist it up and make it like Jenny's. My homemade ice cream recipe is super easy. All you need are 2 cups or 1 pint of heavy whipping cream and then 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. And what you want to do is you want to pour the entire thing of whipping cream, which is 2 cups, into your mixing bowl and go ahead and whip that up till it turns into actual whipped cream. I hope you can hear me. It's loud, but you want to whip the heavy whipping cream on high, the highest speed that your mixer can go. And it takes a couple minutes to get to whipped cream consistency. Here's a tip to help you whipping your cream. Sorry, I was really close there. You can chill your bowl and your beater or your whisk, your whip. It helps it whip up a little quicker into whipped cream. As you can see, it's starting to thicken and it's really close to getting there. Now you don't want to over whip it or it'll turn into butter. Okay, so it should look like that consistency. That's a good whipped cream. And when you get it like this, then what you want to do is you want to start it again and whip it and then just drizzle in. Ooh, gosh. Let me get it going. Drizzle in your sweetened condensed milk, the whole can. You want to keep it on high speed. Drizzle that all in. Okay, it's all in. I turned it up to high speed. I'm just going to give it a good whip. And then what we're going to do is transfer it and add the goodies to it. Jenny's recipe says to either homemade your own sweetened cream biscuits like you would make for like strawberry shortcake or something like that, or you can buy them at the store. I checked 3 different stores, could not find anything in the frozen food section about sweet cream biscuits, anything like it at all whatsoever. So I'm gonna improvise and I'm gonna use glazed donut. I'm gonna chop it up real small and add that in, and I'll let you know how it is. I'm gonna use the jam we made from the other day, the peach jam with her recipe. So I'm going to layer, and I have an ice cream holder, but because we're gonna eat it so quickly, this empty butter thing will work just fine. So I'm gonna put some of the ice cream in the bottom, just like that. Probably about a third of it. I'm gonna put about a third of it in there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of the peach jam and just drop it in there. A little bit of it. Okay, and then I'm going to swirl that in a little bit. So you do like 8s both ways, like back and forth 8s. And then I'm going to add about a third of the donuts and do the same thing, like okay, just mix them in there a little bit. And now I'm going to add the second and just repeat that until it's all done. And then once you're all done with that, then you just put the lid on it. You could put a piece of plastic wrap over top of it so it doesn't get ice crystals, and then put the lid on it and put it in the freezer until it's firm, about 3 to 4 hours, and then eat your ice cream. So good. It doesn't taste like Jenny's. It tastes like Nell's, but it is very, very good. Give it a try for yourself and let me know what you think of it. I did take their advice and I did freeze a whole bunch of peaches. So what I did was the same thing I did for when we made the peach jam. I put an X on the bottom of the peaches. I threw them in boiling water for about 30 seconds. I took them out, put them in an ice bath, and then the skin just peels right off of them. So I peeled the skin off of all of them. I cut them in half and then took the pits out of them, and then I just sliced them into slices and stuck them in a Ziploc freezer bag, laid it on something flat and flattened it out, got the air out of the bag, and then I stuck them in the freezer flat on top of each other, and I will keep them to be frozen and used for whenever it's convenient. And in fact, I'm hoping I'll be able to keep it for when the weather gets a little bit colder and we are having a taste for a little bit of summer. I'll pull my peaches out and make something that is delicious and reminds us of the good times we had this summer. So that is how I used my peaches up from the Peach Truck Tour, and they were delicious and I love them, and I'm looking forward to getting another box next summer. So until our next adventure, it's a wrap, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!